What if Deku's quirk made him a monster? A hero feared by all. But not by MIRKO. DEKU x MIRKO, Part 1 starts now. Location, UA facilities, Class A dormitories. We see the whole class talking to each other until suddenly, their teacher known as Eraserhead enters along with the director of the Nezu school. Aizawa, silence. Screams getting everyone's attention. The director has to tell him something with his usual tone of voice. Nezu, thanks Aizawa. Well, young people, since there are a few weeks left until the cultural festival, you will go on a mission to infiltrate a villain base, says calmly, surprising most. Ida, director, don't you think it's irresponsible to send us on a mission like that? Waving his arms, isn't this guy a long-lost relative of RoboCop? Momo, it's true, it's dangerous and we lack experience, says worried. Everyone nods, thinking the same as their classmates except for a blonde-haired boy and a black-haired boy. Nezu, young people, I understand your concern, but you have a lot of experience with the attacks, and you will not go alone. The heroes Endeavor, Hawks, Ryaku, Kamui Woods and all the UA teachers including me will go. Mina, you're right, we have a lot of experience. Kaminari, it's true we are ready. Rumi, I hope I can break several bones. Scaring some people. Nezu, that's right. Young Usajiyama, you're not going to go with your companions. Rumi, what? Angry. Bakugo, ha 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 ha. That's good. Ha ha ha. Nezu, calm down young man, let me finish. You will not go with them because you will be in charge of defeating any villain who tries to escape around, he says calmly, but deep down he felt a little scared by Rumi's furious look. Rumi, so I can fight whoever I want? Says excitedly. Nezu, yes. Rumi, ha ha ha, great. How did your Muslim eye turn out? Says excitedly. Bakugo, TKS. I bet they are weaklings, it will be easy, says arrogantly. Melissa, don't underestimate them, Bakugo. Bakugo, I don't care what you think. Screams angrily. Aizawa, Bakugo calm down, says with his quirk active. Bakugo, ah. Well, but when is it? Serious. Nezu, tomorrow morning, says as if it were an everyday topic. All Nezu and Aizawa, A. Time skip awesome to the next day. Location, unknown. We find Class A, except for Rumi, the teachers, the police, and the pro-heroes in front of what looks like a well-hidden entrance to a forest. Nezu, okay students, I want you to take this seriously, this is not training, this is real. At that point you can hear the police officer, calling everyone's attention. Police officer, pay attention. Well, according to our report it seems that this is some kind of laboratory, so the mission is to arrest all the people present as quickly as possible, and in case there are innocent people locked up, free them and protect them. Understood? Asks firmly. All, yes, determined. Police officer, okay. Troops knock down the door and move forward. Screams. So the heroes, officers and students entered to attack the base, which turned out to be a laboratory. Everyone stopped the villains quickly and easily, rescuing people locked up for sure to experiment. When they managed to finish they found a large door that seemed to be a cell. Jiru, hey! Screams, drawing everyone's attention except for a Muslim who knows where he is. Kirishima, what's up? More villains? Says ready to attack. Melissa, what's wrong? Worried question. Jiru, I hear a very weak breathing inside. Surprised and worried. Nezu, we have to go in. It may be an innocent person, but we still have to be careful. Worried about what might be there. Momo, we have to open the door. Endeavor, I'll take care of it, girl. As he activates his quirk and begins to melt the door. Looking inside, it was a somewhat gloomy room. The walls had bloodstains, and in the middle of the room, leaning against the wall, there was a person, a young man totally injured. His clothes were torn and very worn. He had what looked like a somewhat serious wound on the left side of his abdomen. He barely moved. When he felt the presence of more people, some of the people covered their mouths and others looked with sadness and helplessness. Why? Why the F? Don't you just kill me already? Says very weakly, shocking those present. Narrator. I still remember. I was happy until that day, that damn day when I lost everything. Flashback 12 years ago. Narrator, your buddy writer friend. Mom. Mom. Let's go fast. Shouted a 4-year-old boy. Wait for me, Izuku. Sighs, I know you're excited but calm down, says a tired woman. This woman was a green-haired woman with a good physique and mother of little Izuku. She is known as Inko Midoriya. Izuku, But Okasan, I want to know my quirk. He said very excitedly while jumping. Inko, okay, but tone down your excitement a little and I'll give you katsudon at home. Izuku, yes. Inko, I don't know if it worked or made it worse, she thought with a drop of sweat on her head. Well, Izuku, we arrived. Izuku, at what time? Inko, when I told you to calm down, there was 1 block left. Izuku, ah. What a deal. Both green-haired men entered the office and waited until it was their turn. Doctor, well, the test results are strange. Scaring the older green-haired girl. Inko, what do you mean, doctor? Worried. Doctor, well, your son has a quirk making the little boy and his mother happy, but it's a new quirk never seen before and it doesn't look anything like yours, it's totally new and powerful. Izuku, thinking, holy crap, I'm so horny, yes. Inko, and what is your quirk? Doctor, we call it vital energy. This quirk works through the energy of his body, allowing him to create things like weapons, supports, whatever he thinks, and improves his physical abilities, such as his speed, resistance and strength, but like every quirk it has a limit. When using it a lot and since it depends on its energy it causes great fatigue. When exceeding this limit the wear is so much that it will damage him internally and his body will heat up, causing him to vomit blood and expel steam. Inko, yes, it is powerful and dangerous for him. Worried. Doctor, that's why I recommend you don't cross that line. Izuku, it doesn't matter, I will train and break that limit determined and happy. Doctor, okay, you can go now. Inko, thank you doctor. Saying goodbye, say goodbye Izuku. Izuku, see you next time. As they left the room, the doctor changed his face to a completely cold one and called someone. Call. Doctor, master? Why are you calling me? A totally cold and frightening voice resounded. Doctor, I found a boy with a very powerful quirk. He could use his quirk sir all for one and keep it. It will be very powerful. Afo, I'll sum it up like this: degree. No. Doctor, Nani. But it's a great opportunity. Afo, let me finish. I won't steal his quirk, I want it to be turned into the perfect weapon. Doctor, okay, it will be a pleasure to do it for you. Today at dusk I will order your kidnapping. Afo, degree, you better comply. End of call. After going to the doctor's office, our protagonist and his mother went to his house, where they spent time playing, and to celebrate Izuku's quirk, his mother was preparing katsudon for him. Izuku, how long until katsudon, Okasan? Asks hungrily. Inko, it's almost ready, smiling. Knocks on the door repeatedly. Inko, I'm coming. Opens the door. Who is it? Points a gun at him. Inko, was going to scream but is knocked out with a blow to the head. Izuku, Okasan, why are you taking so long? Sees the door and gets scared. What did they do to me, Okasan? Trembling. Sleep boy. They put a handkerchief in his mouth and he faints. I'm sorry, I hate doing this. Disappointed in himself. Time skip. Location, unknown premises. Why did they bring a child and a woman here? Doctor, Sensei asked for it. And why would I ask for something so stupid? Then a man arrives dressed very formally and wearing a mask. That person was the villain number 1, all for one. Afo, watch your language Shigaraki, I have my reasons. Shigaraki, sorry Sensei, but why did you bring a child and apparently his mother is going to steal his quirk? Afo, I'm not going to steal his quirk, I'm going to turn it into our weapon. An executor. Shigaraki, with a disturbing smile, I understand now, ha ha ha, can I use it? Afo, he will be your right hand when you become a great villain. Shigaraki, thanks Sensei, I know I'll bring down the heroes. Doctor, okay, let's go see that boy. Afo, and the mother? Doctor, she's still unconscious, but she's locked up. We can't let her out, she could cause us problems when we start a search. Shigaraki, and why don't we kill her? Afo, do you really like killing? Shigaraki shrugs his shoulders in a sign of not knowing. Okay, we won't kill her because she can be useful to us. The doctor and Shigaraki look at him strangely. And I'm not a rapist, I'm a villain, I have some dignity. Shigaraki and the doctor, okay. Afo, let's see the child to start. They walked towards a rather gloomy cell, and inside was Izuku, apparently already conscious. Izuku, where am I? Scared to death. Doctor, in my laboratory. Izuku, where's my Okasan? Afo, locked up just like you. Scaring Izuku even more. Izuku, what do you want from me and my Okasan? Shigaraki, Nothing about your mother. Smiles maniacally, but you instead will be our weapon. Izuku, what? A foe, to sum it up, you will be a villain. You will work for us. Izuku, no, I want to be a hero. A foe, really? If you work for us, you will have power, money, women in the future, you will be unstoppable. Izuku, no. I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to save everyone with a smile like All Might. Determinedly bothering Shigaraki and making a foe more serious. A foe, well, we tried it the good way. Doctor, do your thing, while leaving with Shigaraki. Doctor, of course sensei, hey come. Shouting, calling a group of scientists and other men, I'll need your help. Then those people come in and go to Izuku and hold him. Izuku, let me go. Please let me go. Help. He screamed, crying desperately. After that, 2 weeks passed where they tortured and experimented on Izuku to make him strong. This activated his quirk, but it only lasted a few moments. Izuku, despite everything, still wanted to be a hero and denied being a villain, for which he received greater torture, but this reached the ears of a foe. A foe, so you haven't been very collaborative, kid. Izuku, I'm never going to be a villain. A foe, you have to understand, kid. Kurogiri bring her mention through a communicator. Out of nowhere a fog appeared in the cell and Inko emerged, all beaten up. You could tell she was malnourished. Izuku, Okasan. Crying, seeing his mother in that state. Inko, Izuku? She asked weakly upon hearing her son's voice. A foe, it would be better if they didn't have to silence her every time she screams for them to save them both. Izuku, they hit my Okasan. Angry, without anyone noticing, his quirk activated in his hand, showing an aura of energy, but for some reason it was black bordered by a deep red. A foe, you are not fulfilling our objective. You know that as being an uneducated child, children like that need to be taught, and for that you need a lesson. A foe takes out some stakes from his hands, like the ones from the fight against All Might, and sticks them into each of her limbs, making her scream in pain. Izuku, stop. Leave her alone. Screams furiously and crying, seeing what she did to her Okasan. A foe, this was caused by your child. Said, pointing another stake straight to his mother's heart. Izuku, okay. I'll do it. Just leave her alone. A foe, you should have done it before. Inko, I'm sorry Izuku, take care of yourself, you'll be fine, I love you my boy, she said, exhausted from the pain while tears fell from her eyes. A foe, what beautiful words, but they are of no use now. Die. Stabbing the last stake into Inko's heart. Izuku, no. A foe, I hope you understood, kid. Kurogiri, take the body and leave it in front of a police station, so they will think that the kid is dead, or maybe they won't care, he said in a happy but authoritative tone, seeing how Izuku had an empty look. Kurogiri, yes sensei, leaving in one of his portals with Inko's body. A foe, I hope you cooperate now, kid. Said as he walked away. Doctor, okay boy, come. Izuku. Doctor, I told you to come. Izuku. Doctor, okay, listen, bring him here, calling the same group of men and scientists as the first time. Man, come here, boy. Izuku. I'm going to kill them. He said it in a whisper. Scientist, what did you say? Izuku, what? I'm going to kill you all. Screamed with a voice that became demonic. Izuku is surrounded by the same dark aura that was previously in his hand, releasing an aura of death, but at that moment it explodes and sends everyone flying by the force of the explosion. Everyone watching as the dust went away, it was seen that Izuku's appearance changed. Add bright red borders around it and his pupils are the same color, and I almost forgot, think that he is 4 years old. Izuku, die. Izuku took out some tentacles and began to attack everyone, leaving them badly injured. Then he grabbed one of the men and pierced him with the tentacles, killing him instantly, shocking everyone and at the same time scaring them, since they would be next, but luckily for them, Kurogiri arrived and with a blow to the neck knocked out Izuku. So 12 years passed where Izuku was tortured and experimented on like this. Until 105, and don't worry, he maintains his appearance since he manages to regenerate unlike Deadpool. There were times when men would come down to hit just for fun, it was always like that, well until now. End of flashback. At the moment. Izuku, why? Why don't you just kill me already? Says very weakly, shocking those present. Location, facilities in the forest. We see the heroes in Class A shocked by what they see. Melissa, oh. My god. Shocked. Midnight, let's go help him. Worried. Hawks, wait. You don't know if it's a midnight trap. Midnight, but. Sees Nezu looking at her seriously. Okay. Nezu, young man, what happened to you? Serious as always. Izuku, coughs loudly, throwing up blood. What do you think? Just tell me once and for all, who are they? Nezu, we are the UA, the School of Heroes. We have come to stop this laboratory with the first year Class A along with professional heroes. Izuku, ha. I was already finding it strange that he didn't hit me as soon as I entered, but he assures me that it's true. Nezu, there is Endeavor pointing to the aforementioned. Izuku, I know him, if they are heroes. Nezu, well, Joe is interrupted by the entrance of a gray-haired boy. Bakugo, what's going on here? Kirishima, points to the green-haired boy. Bakugo, looks at the person pointed at, starts walking towards him. Endeavor, wait kid. Bakugo ignores him. Bakugo, releases his pimples. DEKU? Everyone was surprised to see Bakugo crying. Izuku, Kei-ka-chan? Shedding tears. At that moment Izuku was hugged by Bakugo. Bakugo, why you're alive? You're alive, buddy. I thought you died. Screamed with happiness while crying. Izuku, I thought I wouldn't see you again, Ka-chan. Happy. Everyone was shocked and shaken by what they were seeing. Nezu, smiles. There's no doubt about it now, bring a stretcher. Scream. After the big surprise that the heroes and students got, Izuku was taken to the UA infirmary to be treated by recovery and other doctors in case his injuries were more serious than they appeared. Class A headed to their dormitories, while the teachers were in a meeting waiting for recovery's results. Present Mike, this is really shocking, poor guy. Says weirdly calm. Midnight, they are monsters. How are they able to do that to her? Angry. Aizawa, calm down a bit, Midnight. We understand your helplessness. He says in a serious tone, since inside he was quite upset by what he saw. Midnight, calm down. The poor boy was asking to be killed by Aizawa. Says totally angry. Nezu, calm down, Midnight, those people are already locked up, they won't be able to harm him anymore, we just have to wait for recovery. Knocks on the door. Come in. Recovery, hello, I have the young man's results. All Might, how are you? Recovery, she's stable, nothing serious happened thank God, says reassuring the teachers especially Midnight, but she had several blows on her body and not to mention the wound in her abdomen. She also has a large number of scars, caused by burns, deep wounds and cuts. I took a blood sample to find out who she is. Her name is Izuku Midoriya. She lived alone with her mother. Since her father died when she was a baby, her mother was Inko Midoriya. 12 years ago they both disappeared, and 2 weeks after her disappearance the deceased body of her mother was found in front of a police station. But nothing was known about the young man until now. Vlad King, wait, does that mean? Says shocked, being interrupted. Nezu, he was locked up there for 12 years, leaving everyone frustrated by what he had to go through all those years. Then a very beautiful young blue-haired girl entered, apparently running, since her breathing was labored. She was Nehire Hadu, one of the big three. Nezu, young Hadu, what are you doing here? Nehire, wait, takes breath. There is a problem in the infirmary. All Might, what happened? Nehire, well, I was going to the infirmary because I wasn't feeling quite right. When I entered there was a green-haired boy who had apparently just woken up, but he was scared and looked confused. I approached him to talk to him and he asked me who I was. I yelled at him as a third-year senpai while I approached. He noticed that and got desperate. He yelled at me to get away from him. I got closer trying to calm him down. It got worse. He threw himself off the stretcher and crawled to the edge of the room. He yelled at me to get away while shaking and shedding tears. I was already getting worried. Suddenly a blue wall appeared, apparently made of energy, that covered him as if protecting him. That's why I came immediately. Worried. Aizawa, damn, let's go now. All the teachers immediately went to the infirmary and met Izuku just as Nehire mentioned. All Might, calm down young Midoriya, it's okay, we are good, we won't hurt you. Says trying to calm him down. Izuku, get away. Leave me alone. Please. Jay, just leave me. Says with his voice breaking more and more. Midnight, whispering, use your quirk Aizawa. The aforementioned uses his quirk, deactivating Izuku's. Izuku, hey. Getting more scared. Midnight, calm down Izuku, you're safe, they can't hurt you. Everyone was surprised by how Midnight spoke. It wasn't like usual. Now she was speaking in a motherly way as she approaches Izuku. Calm down, you'll be fine. She crouches down and hugs Izuku. At that moment Izuku moved a little as if he was trying to get out of the hug, but he felt something he hadn't felt in years, warmth. He felt protected. He began to calm down little by little, ending up accepting the hug until he fell asleep due to the explosion of emotions he had. At first glance someone could think that they are a mother and her son. Nay higher, how beautiful! Screams excitedly and relieved. Midnight, don't shout that he fell asleep, spoke in a low voice. Help me put him on the stretcher. Izawa and Vlad help him. Everyone leaves the infirmary. Cements, how did you know to make midnight? Doubtful, the others just nodded as a sign of wondering the same thing. Midnight, the truth is that I acted on instinct. I realized that he had no one to lean on, to vent to feel affection for. I was forced to act. I couldn't stand to see him like that. I speak as if I were his mother. Nay higher, can someone explain to me who he is and what happened to him? Izawa, I'll explain later to you, Mirio, Tamaki and my class, okay? With his tired tone. Nay higher, pouts, knew I wanted to know now. Well, it doesn't matter, at least I'll know later, bye. Says goodbye and runs away. All Might, well now we know a little about young Midoriya's mental state. Present Mike, what's going to happen to the director? Nezu, well I saw in more detail the report of the young Midoriya and I saw that because of his attitude he always wanted to be a hero, besides that he has an interesting quirk. I know. Screamed, getting everyone's attention. Izawa, prepare your class, they will have a new partner. Izawa, huh? All Might, why does the director want to join him in Class A? Nezu, I want to fulfill the young man's dream, because if you realize he could have been a villain for what happened, but he is not, and from what we saw, young Bakugo knows him and young Midoriya remembers him, that is, he trusts him, and if they think it is unfair, he will take a test to be able to stay in Class A. Says with a smile. Izawa, okay, I agree, I'll go inform my class, while the boy wakes up. He says before walking towards his class's dormitories. All Might, wait Izawa. I'm going with you, I'll help you explain the subject to them. Izawa, better for me. Nezu, it's strange that he didn't roll away with his sleeping bag, receiving a nod from the others. Well, Cements, come on, we have to plan a way to add another room to the Class A dormitories. Cements, hi. Everyone went off to do their thing while Midnight stared at the infirmary door for a minute before leaving. Location, UA Dorms Class 1A. We see All Might and Izawa at the entrance of the dormitories. They were preparing to be able to explain all the events. While only All Might was preparing, Izawa is as always. All Might, there are times when I really wish I could save everyone, frustrated by everything he just saw and heard. Izawa, we all want to be able to save everyone, but we are humans, not gods. Sighs, here we go, the big three are already inside, besides I want to sleep. All Might, okay. Upon entering, they see everyone gathered in the room. Everyone was silent because of the entrance of the two teachers, waiting for an answer or news. Flashback. Location, UA entrance. The entire Class A was silent, the atmosphere was tense, no one knew what to say, they just walked to their dormitories. Upon entering they met Rumi, who due to her mission arrived earlier and at the same time did not know anything about what had happened. Rumi, and those faces? Says smiling, did something happen? Removing his smile. Momo, we'll tell you, it's difficult. Rumi, okay, I'll wait for you here. After changing, everyone went down to the room where Rumi was waiting. They explained to her everything that happened, including Bakugo's reaction. Rumi, wow, that was really strong, especially Bakugo's reaction. The guy is very proud and seeing him like that is surprising. Says amazed. Kaminari, where is Bakugo by the way? Looking for him. Kirishima, he came down with us, but he left the dorms, apparently he was going to talk to someone, he had his cell phone in his hand. Says explaining what he saw. Mineta, well, one thing is clear. Getting everyone's attention, if there is a terrorist attack we know who it was. Says pointing outside, referring to Bakugo. All Mineta, shut up. They say that it was not the time for jokes, although some laughed inside. While they are inside, outside at the back of the dorms is Bakugo calling someone. Call. Bakugo, hi mom, says seriously. Mitsuki, I told you. Not to call me. Old. Wait. Did you call me? Mom? Bakugo, yes. Mitsuki, did something serious happen, son? Worried. Bakugo, we found it, mom. Says happily, shedding tears. Mitsuki, who son? Says hopefully because she already. Imagine what he meant. Bakugo, a DEKU mama. He's alive. Says. Happily while crying. When he entered the dorms, he went to the living room to wait for news of his childhood friend, while the others saw him but didn't say a word to him. After a while, the big three arrived, which he missed in class. End of flashback. All Might, good is interrupted by Bakugo. Bakugo, how is Deku? Worried, although it was barely noticeable because she was trying to hide her concern. Aizawa, let him finish. Says tired they are in his bag. All Might, well, as I was saying, I bet you young people want to know news of the young man. Everyone nods. I think you told the big three and the young Usajiyama what you saw. Mirio, if they told us, we had to hold Nehire back so she wouldn't hug the boy she might have killed with that hug. Nehire, I just want to help him, says with a pout while her hands and feet are tied by a rope created by Momo. Rumi, they told me when they arrived. All Might, okay, sighs the young man they saw is called Izuku Midoriya. Right now he is in the infirmary resting. Since he woke up earlier, he suffered a panic attack because apparently he distrusts everyone because of having been locked up there, in which we discovered 12 years was what he was locked up, shocking everyone except Bakugo. The young Haru saw that panic attack, since she warned us. The aforementioned nods, but everything is fine, his wounds healed quickly, they just need him to wake up. Cheering everyone. Aizawa, one more thing getting everyone's attention, they will have a new partner. He says it as if it were the most normal thing in the world. All Aizawa and All Might, Ida, but it's not too late to include someone in the class just like that, says moving his arms. Aizawa, it was the director's decision. Ida, oh. Okay. Melissa, and who is our new partner? Aizawa, Izuku Midoriya. Mina, I don't think it's a bad idea, don't take it the wrong way, but he's been through a lot and we don't even know if he wants to be a hero after what he's been through. Aizawa, at first I thought the same. Surprising everyone, but the director realized something when he saw the boy, when he saw what he was like before he disappeared when he was approximately 4 years old. He always wanted to be a hero, and if he wanted to be a villain he wouldn't be there, or if he didn't want to be either of the two he would have given up and died. The director saw another future hero. He said, smiling slightly. Sato, and why exactly will he enter our class? He asked doubtfully. Aizawa, because he doesn't trust anyone except Bakugo, and recently Midnight you will help him overcome his fear, and from what I see he is a great person, right Bakugo? Bakugo, he is a great friend, he always helped others without hesitation or asking for something in return, he simply behaved like a hero even before having a quirk. Says smiling slightly, but noticeable to others. All Might, Aizawa and young people, young Midoriya will come tomorrow since we were informed that he is completely asleep, so he will wake up tomorrow. Well, young people, I say goodbye. Rest, goodbye Aizawa. Aizawa, bye, now I can sleep. Go to sleep, it's late, you already know what will happen tomorrow. Says to roll away in his sleeping bag. Tokoyami, it was already strange that they didn't leave like that before. Says with a drop of sweat on his forehead, and everyone nods. Ida, well, you heard the sensei, go to sleep. Moving his arms. Rumi, shut up 4 eyes. We already heard it. Angrily screams because she can't stand Ida's attitude when they say something. Saying that, everyone goes to their rooms, leaving Ida depressed because he felt like they didn't respect him, and then leaving as well. Time skip to the next day. Everyone, including the 3 big three who wanted to meet Izuku, were in the living room talking, others watching television, one tied up, another was charging his cell phone. Guess which ones are mentioned at the end? It's very easy, until All Might, Aizawa, and Midnight came in. And behind them came Izuku, who was now well dressed. Izuku has longer hair, although it won't be very noticeable, because he has his hair tied up like Aizawa. The tension was in the air because they didn't know how to start a conversation, and Izuku looked at them seriously because he distrusts them. Well, everyone except Bakugo and Midnight, he was like that for a few seconds until someone spoke. Kirishima, nice to meet you, I'm Kirishima Eijiro. Says smiling as he walked towards him and extended his hand. Izuku. I hesitate for a moment, but I accept I am Izuku Midoriya. He says seriously and sharply. So one by one he greeted them all, including the big three. He only greeted Bakugo in a friendly way, even though Rumi was missing. Rumi, hello, I'm Usajiyama. Rumi says seriously. Everyone was worried because Rumi is not usually very friendly. Izuku stares while keeping his face serious. Rumi, you look at me, you damn pervert. Says angry. Izuku, it's not that. You look familiar, have I seen you before? I asked doubtfully. Rumi, oh. Sorry about that, I thought you were like that useless dwarf over there, pointing at Mineta and answering your question. As far as I remember, no. Says with a small smile. Izuku, no problem, I was the one who stared. You looked familiar to me, but I think I got confused. Says with a slight smile, but speaks just as sharply. Everyone was left speechless by what they saw. Not only was he able to greet Rumi in a normal manner, but he also got along well with her, and that's where the director comes in. Nezu, it's good that you know the young class. Izuku, yes, you were the director, right? Nezu, yes, young man. Izuku, do you need something? Nezu, nothing, I just came to see how they build your room. All, so fast. Izuku, one of the teachers had a quirk to manipulate cement from what I saw, that makes all that work easier. Everyone was surprised again, just by seeing a teacher they deduced his quirk. Nezu, he's good at observing, young man. Says with a smile. Izuku, if you want to live you have to be alert to everything and see every detail no matter how small it is. He said very seriously. Nezu, ha 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 ha, I like you, young man. Laughing, as he found it funny to see how someone knows so much. Izuku. Same here. Nezu, well, cement is supposed to have knocked down the wall of the men's hallway. Says walking towards the men's hallway, while the others followed him. It seems that it has not been knocked down yet. Looking at the wall that ends the men's hallway. Kaminari, what are you going to take him down with? Nezu, with Explosi is interrupted by an activation sound. Suddenly the wall explodes, everything was seen in slow motion. When everyone reacted, they saw Izuku with neon blue eyes, taking the director while in front of them there was a neon blue wall that protected them, and not only that, it also covered the outside walls to protect them from the explosion. Nezu, ha ha ha, that's amazing, young Midoriya. His laugh makes me miss everyone. Izuku, it was a test, right? Says seriously. Nezu, yes, and you passed it. You reacted quickly and took care of protecting everyone present. You even managed to avoid structural damage by protecting the area from the explosion. Everyone was surprised by Izuku's reaction speed. That's a hero. Izuku, thanks, but I'm just doing the right thing. With a slight smile. Nezu, well, young Midoriya, you need to take a test to be able to enter Class A. Do you think you are ready to do it now or tomorrow? I ask seriously. Izuku, I'll do it now. I'm totally healthy right now and I also want to stretch my arms a little. Says determined and excited. Kirishima, this guy is a real man. Screams praising him, and the others also started saying good things about him. Nezu, okay young man, it's your decision, your test will be seen by the teachers, students of Class A and B. Nehire, we can go too. Says pointing at her, Mirio and Tamaki. Nezu, of course they can, well let's go, we have to take advantage of the fact that everyone is here, only Class B is missing. Aizawa calls Vlad and tells him to go with his class to the training city. Does that fake city have a name? Can you tell me? So everyone headed to the city, but they separated. Izuku went to the city area and the others to the control zone where everything could be seen. After a while Class B also arrived with Monoma knocked out, and when they asked what happened, the president of Class B Itsuka Kendo replied it's better to be safe than sorry, referring to the guy's attitude. Nezu, well young Midoriya, you will take a test that is like the entrance test that the other students took, but with greater difficulty. The enemies, robots, will have attacks that simulate a quirk. There will be citizens that you will have to save and protect, do you understand? Says through a microphone that sounds throughout the city. Izuku, clear as water. Serious. Nezu, are you sure you can do this today? I ask, worried that I can't do everything in the test. Izuku, I'm ready. I'm going to enjoy it like you can't imagine. Says smiling, which surprised everyone and excited Rumi because she was like her when fighting. It turns out that Izuku enjoys fighting, giving his all and emerging victorious. Nezu, well then don't hold back and give it your all. Nezu: 1. Izuku, his eyes turn neon blue, with a trail close to fire. Nezu: 2. Izuku, his hair starts to move as if a current of air reached it and lights up a little, combining the neon blue with his green hair. Nezu: 3. Izuku is surrounded by a neon blue aura. Imagine it's Izuku and the eyes are neon blue with the trail I mentioned before. Nezu, it begins. Location: UA Training City. Everyone was more than surprised by the change that Izuku had. It was incredible. Before they could only see his blue eyes, but now just by looking at him they knew he was powerful. Another thing that surprised them was the attitude he had. Everyone thought he would be nervous or worried about the difficulty of his test, but he looked excited, he was enjoying it, which seemed strange to them except for Rumi, who was enjoying it because Izuku was like her, she enjoys fights. With Izuku. Izuku was facing an entire robot army of at least 120 robots in total. These were the robots, most are like the first robot, there are fewer of the second one. In the middle of the robot army were different groups of hostages. Izuku notices the groups of hostages, crouches down and touches lightly, only being noticed by Nezu and Aizawa. You're already dead pieces of tin. Izuku stretches his arms, leaving them in a cross position, and they begin to glow blue, creating a type of giant tentacles combined with a scythe at the end of each arm. Izuku crossed his arms and opened them again with force, stretching the tentacles, devastating the army. In the control room they were more than surprised, because Izuku still knocked down almost the entire army, since only the robots at the end could barely resist the impact, but they were less than a quarter of what the army was in total. Mina, I defeated almost everyone. Shocked. Todoroki, in one attack. Surprised. Vlad, what power? But he failed, says, surprising the others. He attacked without thinking about the hostages, says, approaching a button to end the test. Nezu, I thought you were better at observing, Vlad says, making him stop before pressing the button. Vlad, what do you mean? Nezu, hey. Did you also see what I saw, Aizawa? Aizawa, yes. When the boy saw the location of each group of hostages, he touched the ground and released part of his quirk, creating shields around each group, and when attacking the shields absorbed the attack, letting it pass as if there was nothing. I'm surprised. Says with his trauma smile. Children. All Might, incredible. Says the excited blonde. With Izuku. Izuku, that was disappointing. Realizes there are more robots. Okay, those are either strong or just lucky. Not because. Inhales and exhales. Godspeed. Izuku began to run at high speed, hitting each of the robots while moving the hostages away at the same time. In less than a minute he had the hostages safely in the area where he started, and the robots were destroyed, but it was clearly seen that they had to receive several hits to fall. In the control room. In the control room, almost everyone could only see a blue line that appeared and disappeared. The only ones who could see it were All Might and Melissa, while Uraka and Nehire realized that this speed was very similar to Melissa's when she rescued Eri. Nezu, he's strong and smart, I'd approve now, but it's not over yet, says, pressing a red button. Momo, what do you mean? She is interrupted by a big tremor. With Izuku. Izuku, was that all the evidence? Says, bored, but starts shaking in a way that resembles an earthquake. Wow, now what happens? Then a giant robot comes out from the bottom of the city. The one who guesses what movie it is from and what the robot's name is first, I also know that I will respect him a lot. In the future I will make him appear as a more than secondary character, who will appear for a moment and then not come back. Izuku. Where the hell do they get money for this? Says with a poker face. In the control room. Aizawa, how did he get that? Slightly surprised. Nezu, it's an old project of the Chinese and United States governments, which was abandoned. They gave it to me, since it was not going to be used and was incomplete, so I gave it to Power Loader and young Hatsum to complete it. Midnight, and how did I pay for all the arrangements? Says nervously when seeing such a monstrosity in front of Izuku. Nezu, where do you think the millionaire's taxes ended up? Says with a smile. All, that explains a lot. Says with poker face. Momo, that's why my father is grumpy every half month, she thought. With Izuku. Izuku, the director is crazy. I like this guy more and more. Robot, surrender hero, you won't be able to get out of here alive, says in a robotic voice. Izuku, give up. You tempt me, but no, now stop talking and let's see if this is your size. Says to take a big leap and start shining, blinding those who were watching. Everyone couldn't believe what they were seeing when they opened their eyes. It's full neon blue. Where Izuku was supposed to be now was this robot that was even taller than the test robot. Izuku, meet my little friend Gypsy Danger. Says to the inside of Gypsy, exactly inside the head. After saying that, Izuku/Gypsy began to run at a considerable speed, while the test robot imitated Izuku/Gypsy's action, but much slower. So Gypsy jumps and hits the robot on the head with a mallet, then gives him an uppercut, making the robot back off, but the blow affected him less than the first. He recovered and threw a right hook at Izuku/Gypsy's chest, making him back off. The test robot was slow but had a lot of strength and endurance, plus the front fin prevented him from hitting his head again. Before he could react again, the robot gave another right hook that knocked down Izuku/Gypsy. Izuku/Gypsy quickly got up thanks to some thrusters on his back that increases mobility and speed. Izuku/Gypsy threw a series of punches at the robot, but they didn't affect him much due to his endurance, so he decided to act quickly even though he still had a lot of time to finish the test, so Izuku/Gypsy gave him a rocket-propelled punch. So Gypsy jumps and hits the robot with a mallet on the head, then gives him an uppercut making the robot retreat, but the blow affected him less than the first one. He recovered and threw a right hook at Izuku/Gypsy's chest making him like that, but imagine it went straight to the chest, making the robot retreat, leaving a dent in its chest and breaking the front fin that protects its head. Izuku/Gypsy, that thing finally shut up. Happy scream, okay, let's finish it once and for all, shall we? Says to take out a sword in each arm. Well, let's finish it once and for all, shall we? Says to take out a sword in each arm. Izuku, well it was a pleasure now. Shine. Screamed, and in the background you could hear that was mine DEKU. Izuku/Gypsy begins to run towards the robot, dodging its blows, and then proceeds to stab its right sword in the robot's right arm so that it cannot defend itself, and with the left hand, give it an uppercut with the sword, hitting it in the chest, going through its chest where its core was until reaching its head due to the strength and length of the sword, giving victory to Izuku/Gypsy. In the control room, everyone except for a few were with their mouths on the floor. They had just witnessed the defeat of an army in seconds plus a battle of titans, but they came out of their astonishment when they felt some tremors and realized that Izuku/Gypsy was walking towards them, making most of them nervous. Izuku/Gypsy crouched down and was face to face with the control room, scaring several people in one. Well, he was on the floor scared to death. Izuku/Gypsy, please open the window, says so that Rumi, who although she won't show it, felt intimidated, would open the bedroom window. So Izuku/Gypsy begins to glow and then disappears. Before disappearing completely, Izuku emerges from Gypsy's head, jumping towards the window to enter, deactivating his quirk while releasing steam from his body. Izuku, and how was it? He asked, seeing how no one showed signs of moving or saying anything. Nezu, ha ha ha, amazing young man, he broke all my expectations, obviously he goes to class A. Says very excited. Kirishima, he's quite a man. Screams, crying like a real man. Bakugo, wow, you are so powerful, DEKU. I have to admit, you've become very strong. Says happy for his friend. So everyone started telling him that he was very strong, that what he did was incredible, among other compliments, making him smile slightly, until Rumi, let's fight now. I want to fight you, it seems that you are very strong, I want to try it myself. She says motivated, while her bunny tail moved quickly showing how motivated she was. Izuku, ha ha ha, let's go. Says excitedly activating his quirk. But suddenly Izuku falls to the ground, supporting himself with his arms, and begins to cough up a considerable amount of blood, even greater than All Might's, while his body expels a lot of steam, worrying everyone, but especially Midnight. Midnight, Izuku. She screamed, scared by what she just saw, to proceed to take the green-haired boy and leave him on her thighs. Recovery, help him. She screamed with tears in her eyes. Recovery was approaching to heal Izuku with her quirk, but is stopped. Izuku, no. Screams, making Recovery stop. I'm fine. Midnight, hey. How are you okay? You just coughed up a lot of blood and you say you're fine. Says angry and worried. Izuku, calm down Nemuri-san, it's just that I reached my limit and because of the excitement of fighting I completely ignored it, and you can already see the consequences of that, he says as he slowly gets up, surprising everyone. Melissa, but why don't you let Recovery cure you? I ask curiously. Izuku, the Recovery quirk uses the energy of the person being healed, which would affect me quite a bit, since my quirk uses my energy to function and I just used almost all of it. I would fall half dead if he uses his quirk on me. Says seriously. Todoroki, would you explain your quirk to us? He says without losing his serious face, but he was doubtful. Izuku hesitates for a moment. Okay, my key is interrupted. Nay higher, wait, I want to say it. Says jumping a little and raising her hand. Izuku, how? If you don't know my quirk, I asked with my eyes closed. Nay higher, I read it in the files the director had with information about you, says smiling, showing a folder. Nezu, so she had it. But how did she take it from me, I thought. Izuku, and you read it all? Nay higher, yes. Izuku, okay, Miss Hato Ken is interrupted again. Nay higher, no, don't call me Hato and Miss, Call me Nehire, getting everyone's attention and making Mineta and Kaminari jealous. Izuku, he had a slight blush, which is noticed by everyone, but I barely know you enough to have the confidence to say your name. Miss Hato somewhat nervous. Nehire, it doesn't matter, we'll meet each other anyway, so call me Nehire. Says smiling. Izuku, Boo couldn't finish. Nehire, please. Making a cute face. Izuku, I'm going to get diabetes, he thought okay. And Nehire. Says a little blushing and nervous, then you call me by my name too. Nehire, okay Izuku, now I'll start telling you about your quirk. The aforementioned nods, although I haven't read the effects yet, so I'll read them at the end. Izuku, okay. Nehire, okay, listen carefully. Izuku's quirk is called Vitality. His quirk allows him to use his body's energy to improve his senses and physical abilities, regenerate over time and join lost limbs. He can also use his energy to create any object he thinks of, surprising several by what he could do. Well, now the effects and limits. Opens the folder and looks for the effects and limits, frozen without saying anything. All Might, young Hato is okay? Upon saying that, Nehire reacts, but notices that he no longer has a smile and that Izuku had his gaze down. Nehire, I'm sorry, now I'm still. Inhales and exhales. Izuku, when using his quirk too much, starts to get tired and expels steam due to the effort his body suffers. Yee. Izuku, is this true? Asks scared. Izuku. Yes, says seriously. Saying that, everyone became worried and wondered what was so bad that Nehire would react like that. Nehire, if Izuku exceeds his limit, he will release a large amount of steam due to the overheating of his body, and he will not be able to move due to muscle wasting throughout his body. He will also suffer great internal damage, causing him to start coughing up large amounts of blood, and if he continues using his quirk after having passed his limit for much longer, he will die. Says, making everyone look at Izuku worried except Aizawa and Nezu, who became serious. Nezu, young Midoriya, you have reached your limit, close to that result? He asked seriously. Izuku, yes, responding in the same way. Aizawa, how many? He asked seriously but already worried. Izuku, on 2 occasions while they had me locked up. One, they forced me to use my quirk, almost killing me in the process, and the other was so I could survive a fight against another experiment of theirs, leaving me in the same state. Says, worrying everyone even more than they were. Nezu, and you're not worried about that? Izuku, I don't care about my limit, because if that happens I'll get up and live. I'm going to die my way. Says to everyone in amazement. Aizawa, and how do you want to die, Midoriya? Says seriously. Izuku, being a hero, says, making everyone smile. Now if you excuse me, I want to go to sleep for a moment, my quirk makes me tired. Says with his eyes closed. Everyone thought he was going to go to sleep in the dorms, but he stayed still. Rumi, what happened to him? Says, approaching him and realizes he fell asleep. All Aizawa, with poker face. Midnight, how did he manage to fall asleep like that? Everyone shrugs their shoulders as if they have no idea. Well, Miss Usagiyama, can you wake him up? Rumi, okay. Moving Izuku's shoulder, wake up Midoriya. But Rumi forgot that Izuku is someone who lived alert most of his life, so when he sleeps his reflexes act on instinct when he senses a presence, depending on his intentions. Rumi, hey, wake up, couldn't finish because Izuku fell on top of him when he was moved, making Rumi fall too and hugged her by instinct. Hey. Get off of me. Screamed, annoyed and embarrassed. Nezu, wait, Miss Usagiyama, he's still sleeping. Rumi, okay, but why did he hug me that I can't take him off? I screamed, still angry, but even with the screams Izuku was still asleep. Nezu, apparently it acts on instinct when sleeping, and since it didn't feel any danger it only caught what it brought close, that is, you. Says, smiling, well, it's over, you can all leave. Causing everyone to start leaving. Rumi, wait, how am I leaving? Saw the door close. No. Help me out. Nobody answered because they had already left there. Location, UA Class A dormitories. We can see the whole class planning something. What are they planning? Well, easy, in a week it's the cultural festival and they are deciding what to do in their act, but now they will wonder what happened to our protagonist and the rabbit after the test. Flashback. We can see Izuku and Rumi sleeping on the floor, in a different position than before when Rumi was still awake. Now they were hugging each other, but Izuku had his face and Rumi, which were considerably large, and for some reason he could still breathe. In that, Izuku wakes up realizing where his face was, blushing, remaining paralyzed, and to his bad luck Rumi woke up. Rumi, Izuku, say something so you don't think you're a pervert, said, thinking hello, imbecile, shouted internally. Rumi, Midoriya says with an aura of death that would scare all for one himself. What are you doing there? Izuku, it wasn't intentional, I woke up like that Usajiyama. I wouldn't do that to you. Says already getting up from the ground, scared by how intimidating he looked. Rumi, come here pervert. I scream angrily trying to catch him, but Izuku escapes. We can see the hallway just outside the control room where Izuku and Rumi were, where Izuku suddenly comes out quickly closing the door to run away. After a few seconds the door flies off due to a kick from Rumi, who ran in the same direction as Izuku chasing him trying to kick him to stop him, but Izuku dodges it. Becoming smaller? Using his quirk, which was noticeable because it looked like a neon blue light bar with legs. From 0-10, and instead of dodging swords imagine that they are Rumi's kicks. They were like that all over UA until Izuku managed to get to the class dormitories where his classmates did everything they could to calm Rumi down so that Izuku could explain to her what happened. Obviously they didn't tell her the reason for that persecution to the others, but Rumi wasn't entirely happy. Izuku, come on Usajiyama, I didn't mean to. Says a little nervously, staying serious because the whole class was there. Rumi just turns around ignoring him. Izuku, okay. What do you like Usajiyama? He asked calmly, but inside he felt like he was going to regret it. Rumi, why the question? Asked. Izuku, whatever you like, I'll give you as an apology. Rumi, he okay if you say so, I like carrots and bunnies. Says smiling in his own way. Izuku, okay. Does anyone know a good store that sells carrots? I asked taking advantage of the class's presence. Momo, I know one that is very good quality in all kinds of fruits and vegetables. She said, getting Izuku's attention. Izuku, where is it? Momo, south of the city, it is about 2 hours from here. Izuku, something to identify the place. Ask seriously. Momo, easy, he's the only one there. Says with a smile. Izuku, okay, I'll be back in 8 minutes. Godspeed. He ran away leaving a blue trail. Kaminari, he must have realized that he needs to pay. Everyone looked at him. All, and you say it now. They yelled at the defective Pikachu. 8 minutes later. Meeting the time, Izuku arrived with a box of carrots, which looked in an incredible state. Izuku, okay, here it is, a box with the best carrots. Says a little tired, leaving the box in front of Rumi who was sitting on an armchair with stars in her eyes. Kirishima, Midoriya. How did you pay for that? Says smiling as always. Izuku, I stole them, says with a chibi face. Imagine it's Izuku. All, what? Izuku, I was joking, says keeping his face and making everyone sigh with relief. Bakugo, don't make jokes Deku. Says hitting him. Izuku, doesn't even flinch, okay. Momo, but how did you pay for them? Izuku, Nemuri-san gave me some money in case I wanted something, says with a smile. Rumi, thank you very much for the carrots, but I mentioned a rabbit. Says with a smile. Izuku, I don't know how to get you one. Says somewhat embarrassed. Rumi, oh. How bad? Screams, making her ears go down in sadness. Here I pause if you ask me about Kota's rabbit. It doesn't exist, okay, it doesn't exist. It burned, it died, it was cooked, it exploded, it imploded, it evaporated and they ate it, okay. It doesn't exist. Okay, everything clear? Izuku, first Nei higher and now Usajiyama, she's really cute, at this rate I'm seriously going to get diabetes, thought okay, I can get you one. Rumi, seriously. But you said no. Says somewhat excitedly. Izuku, yes, but the one I can get you is temporary and looks different. Rumi, it doesn't matter. Izuku, are you sure? I ask something serious. Rumi, yes, a rabbit is a rabbit. Izuku, okay. Suddenly Izuku's body starts to glow, making everyone close their eyes. When everyone opened their eyes, they didn't see Izuku anywhere until they noticed a neon blue rabbit on the ground, and before anyone could say anything, Rumi literally jumped to grab the rabbit and hug it. Rumi, bunny. Says happily hugging the rabbit and burying it in her at the same time. Izuku/rabbit, I can't breathe here. He screamed, causing Rumi to let go, and everyone was impressed because it was Izuku Youth. Finally, I almost died. Again? He said to himself doubtfully. Uraka, how did you become a rabbit? Asked, still impressed. Izuku/rabbit, I can alter my body with my energy, transforming it into whatever I want, but it doesn't work for camouflage or infiltration because everything I become will be neon blue, plus it altered my genetics so if I transform into an animal I acquire certain customs. Sero, you're amazing, your quirk allows you to do many things, my friend. Says smiling. Izuku/rabbit, thank you, looks at Rumi. Sorry I couldn't give you a Usajiyama rabbit. Says in a serious tone, but his ears lowered in sadness just like Rumi before. Rumi, no problem bunny, in fact, come gesturing to go to his side of the chair. Izuku/rabbit, jumps onto the couch next to Rumi so that couldn't finish because Rumi started petting his head between his ears. If feels good says in a relaxed and happy tone. Mina, wow, I wasn't lying about the habits that you acquire. Laughing lightly. Rumi, why do you say that? Mina, you see it yourself pointing to Izuku. Rumi, she turns around and sees Izuku/rabbit hitting his right paw against the couch as a sign of happiness. Oh. It's true that rabbits react like that, it's cute she says in a kind and calm tone. Sero, she just acted nicely. Says surprised to see Rumi so calm. Kaminari, the world is going to explode. Says making some laugh others don't. Because well they want to keep living. Rumi, what did you say, defective Pikachu? Says angry. Kaminari, I'm sorry Usajiyama, but you are always someone with a strong and motivated character, and seeing you like this is good, something that is not seen every day. Says laughing a little at the end. Rumi, really? Says standing up and approaching Kaminari. Kaminari, why yes says scared to death. Rumi, okay says turning around, making Kaminari sigh in relief but I'm still going to break your arm, you idiot. Turning around kicking him making him crash into the wall. Oh and Midoriya you can go back to normal if you want says taking another carrot and eating it. Izuku/rabbit, okay it starts to shine again and Izuku appears, but he still had rabbit ears, take it off he says making the ears disappear. And is Kaminari okay? He asked seeing how Kaminari was still on the ground and Mineta approached to see his friend. Mineta. Kirishima, don't exaggerate Mineta is alive look gives a light kick to Kaminari making a groan of pain be heard see. He is still alive says smiling. Izuku, he smiles and starts walking towards the hallway where his room is. Hey Usajiyama. Getting the attention of the aforementioned in the background there is something for you. Rumi, what is this? Says as he rummages through the box, pulling out another smaller cardboard box. What is this? Izuku, open it. Scream from the hallway. Rumi, opens the box it's a cake. Says happily. Izuku, it's a carrot cake. Consider it a bonus. He shouted while opening the door to his room. Rumi, thank you Midoriya. He screamed very happily because it was his favorite sweet. Izuku, you're welcome. Says so that everyone can later hear a door closing. At that moment everyone in the room remained silent for a moment until someone spoke. Kirishima, what a nice guy. Says smiling. End of flashback. During the week Izuku gained more confidence in his classmates, but they are not as friendly as he is with Bakugo, although he does consider Rumi to be someone he trusts, who he liked very much and knows that she is trustworthy, plus she is very affectionate with him compared to the others. This nay higher because it's like having a younger sister, although she is older and Midnight who he trusts a lot who is like a mother. He also met Class B, who were quite nice, but there were exceptions, he didn't like some, from his class Mineta and Mina. He doesn't like Mineta very much because of how perverted he is, Mina because she is very gossipy, something that Izuku hates, since she always gets into other people's business and goes around telling them as if nothing. From Class B he hates Monoma who is annoying, since he always makes fun of his classmates for no reason. Izuku had to try hard not to get carried away by Monoma's words, because if not he would already be 10 meters underground. Well, let's get back to the present. Momo, so what are we going to do for the festival? I asked while holding a notebook to write things down. Mineta, you serve as a fan. Screams, his perverse tone becoming noticeable. But before they could say anything or hit him, the sound of a gunshot was heard, and then Mineta was seen on the ground and Izuku with his arm outstretched with a neon blue revolver. Ida, but what did you do? Says scared and angry. Izuku, I shot him he says in a calm tone. Kaminari, how are you calm? You killed him animal. Desperately looking at his friend. Izuku, really? I don't see any blood or wounds anywhere and I shot him in the head. Says with a poker face. Kaminari, hey. He checked his friend and he didn't have any injuries but how? What did you do to him? He asked, not knowing what to think. Izuku, I call them phantom attacks he said, drawing everyone's attention. It's an attack. It doesn't leave any physical damage, but the person will feel pain as if I had really damaged them. I can use it in different ways clarified. Ida, oof. Okay, but don't do it again please. I thought you were a murderer for a moment, Midoriya says, moving his arms. Izuku, you take the fun out of life. Aims again and shoots Mineta in the arm, making him wake up from the pain. Ready, I'm happy now, I speak happily. Rumi, can I borrow one of those sometime? Says smiling. Izuku, of course. Momo, leaving that aside, any other ideas? Mina, how about a concert? Says smiling. Toru, yes. We can dance like that too. Says following Mina's idea. Momo, it's actually a very good idea. Mina, I can teach anyone who wants to dance, says to start breakdancing. Izuku, that explains how athletic she is, thinks with a drop of sweat. Ida, fine, but we'll need someone to sing, we can't dance without music. Says calmly. Toru, I know, Jiru. Screams, drawing the attention of the aforementioned. Jiru, yes, answered. Toru, you could sing. Jiru, eh? Nervous scream. Why do you say that? Toru, last time you sang while playing guitar for us, says excitedly. Jiru, but I don't sing very well, says very nervous. Kaminari, what do you mean you don't sing well? I heard you once and you sing beautifully. Says to hand him a microphone created by Momo. Try it. Hearing that, Jiru takes some courage and beautifully sings a verse of a song. Kirishima, he sings amazing. Kaminari, see. What did I tell you? Ida, I think I speak for everyone that Jiru will sing. Everyone nods. Okay, you will sing, Jiru. Jiru, okay, but I need someone to play the guitar and another one to play the bass, finally someone to play the drums. Says while counting with his fingers. They choose the same ones from the anime, except for Tokoyami. Jiru, well, we are ready, is interrupted by Mina. Mina, wait. You can't do it alone, says smiling. Jiru, why? Mina, to give more variety to the songs and so that you don't strain your voice too much. Jiru, okay, but who would sing with me? She asked doubtfully, not having an idea of who. Mina, Midoriya. He will sing with you. Making everyone look at Izuku. Izuku, why me? Screams, scared to know why I mention it. Mina, the other day I was walking around UA, I saw you enter the forest area, I followed you and I saw you sit down to sing for a while. Clarified, surprising everyone and angering Izuku a little. Bakugo, were you singing DEKU? Izuku, yes, and Mina respects people's privacy, says sharply and seriously, scaring Mina. I'm not going to sing, says looking at everyone. Kirishima, come on Midoriya, I'm sure you sing well enough for Mina to recommend you. Izuku, no. Says still serious with a somewhat raised tone. Rumi, come on. Don't be a coward. Says hitting Izuku's pride directly. Izuku, Jiru, can I borrow your microphone and instruments? He says with a somewhat forced smile. Jiru, why yes, says realizing why her partners smile, but why all the instruments? There's only one of you and we can't help you because we don't know what you're going to sing, says doubtfully. Izuku, I'll take care of that. Usajiyama the aforementioned sees it, takes my hands with each arm. Rumi, what for? Izuku, just do it. Rumi takes both of his hands. Rumi, now what? Izuku, pull as if you were going to push me, says as his eyes turn blue. Rumi, okay. She pulls hard on Izuku's arms. But instead of moving Izuku, other neon blue hands came out to finally reveal two neon blue Izukus next to the original. Bakugo, oh please. Now you clone yourself. Says surprised. Izuku, remember I said I can create things, says with a poker face. All, ah. Okay. Izuku, okay, your friend, you're going to the drums, says to the first clone, who nods and goes to the drums, and you take the bass, says giving him the bass. I'll stay with the guitar, says standing in front of everyone with the clones. Well, let's start, says receiving a nod from the others. The clones began to play, but before they started singing, Izuku looked at Rumi and pointed to his ear as a sign for her to hear carefully. When he finished singing, everyone started to applaud Izuku, who had a smile. Kaminari, amazing. Ha ha ha, you sing great. Midoriya says, hitting Izuku's shoulder. Izuku, thank you. Jiru, you play amazing. Someday after the festival we should practice together. Izuku, of course. 12 smiling and then looking at Rumi, who is a coward, huh? Says smiling mockingly at Rumi. Rumi, I have to admit I'm impressed, I take back what I said and you also sing amazingly. Says smiling. Izuku, thanks Usajiyama says happily. Rumi, although I didn't like something. Says seriously. Izuku, what thing? Rumi, you called me Usajiyama and I don't like it, tell me Rumi says smiling, getting everyone's attention. Izuku, hey. Says a little nervous, but more surprised. Rumi, tell me, Rumi, we trust each other enough, don't we? I asked with a smile, but inside I was worried about the answer Izuku would give. Izuku, hey of course I do. Rumi-san, then you tell me Izuku says smiling. Rumi, just call me Rumi, no better call me Rumi-chan says leaving everyone who saw this surprised, even Todoroki. Izuku, Rumi-chan says a little blushing. Rumi, that's right, I'll tell you Izu, can I? Says wagging his tail in a sign of happiness, please say yes, says thinking. Izuku, why yes of course you can says smiling. Rumi, thanks Izu says smiling calmly. Izuku, no thanks to you Rumi-chan says smiling. Mina, Ina is interrupted. Izuku/Rumi, shut up Mina. They said angrily, scaring Mina. Ida, okay. Well Class A. We must give our best and present the best act of the festival. Said motivated. All, yes. They shouted excitedly. Izuku, looks at his class with a smile, maybe I can have a good life, he said thinking happily.